Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I have another layout using the April Scraptastic kit. I'm showing you some of the papers. The first one was from Teresa Collins, and I'm showing you acetates and another crate paper and a fancy pants, I believe. And I want to put some definition to the background because it's just a plain cardstock. So I'm using my roller stamp, I guess, from American Craft, and it's just polka dots, and I'm going to add that to the background with just my white close to my heart ink, and it's a pigment ink, so it takes a little longer to dry up. So I just take my heat gun and just dry it up just to make sure that I don't transfer that white ink everywhere. And this is the second layout using this kit. It took me 57 minutes to complete. And it's sort of, it's not a two-page spread, but it's the coordinating page to the first page I did. The first page was of my daughter eating ice cream, and this is the same day, and I had taken a picture of my son eating ice cream. So what I'm going to do to make sure that they, you can tell that they are meant to be side by side in an album, I'm using some of the same pattern papers. So I'd made sure to use like that black and cream pattern paper on the other layout, so that because I mean it's a boy page on this side, so I don't want to put too much like pink and that kind of stuff. And so I did put blue on her page, and now I'm bringing some of that in. I'm going to cut 2 strips of these butterflies, and I'm just finding butterflies that are not pink in that strip, and there's some that are going to be coral, but they're not pink. So I'm not going to make 2 full strips at the top and the bottom. I just want to change it up a little bit. So I'm going to put a strip of butterfly at the top and a strip of butterflies at the bottom. And I'm going to use the pattern papers that I used was again that diagonal stripe in black and white, 3 different types of blues, and then there's also an acetate I want to use to the background of this, and it just makes the whole picture pop off the page. There's a tag that came in the kit, and I'm going to use it on this layout so that I can do my journaling. I'm going to take a strip of that diagonal stripe blue and cream paper, and I'm just going to extend it beyond the tag so that it grounds it on the layout. I have also cut 2 more of those diagonal aqua and cream stripe, and I'm going to put 1 at the top and 1 at the bottom of the layout. I took out a bunch of die cuts that coordinated with the colors of this layout, and above the tag below the tag, sorry, I put a square that said hello, and then a pink circle that said smile, an arrow that was just in the right color. I'm going to cut because I want to have some navy in there because my son is wearing a navy and light blue shirt. And so I'm going to cut a tab in half, and I'm going to put blue accents on this layout. Now I'm just taking the brown ink that came in the kit, and I'm not outlining, but inking all the edges of all the pattern papers, just so that it looks like all the pattern papers, you know, are meant to go together. So once that is done, I'm ready to glue everything down. And because I don't like stuff when it scooches around, as soon as I know approximately how things are going to go, I start gluing everything down. So I glue down my photo to the pattern paper and then to all the layers of the other pattern papers, and I'm still having issues with my ATG tape, but it's gonna run out finally, and I'll be able to switch it out. And now I'm adding that acetate to the background, and the ATG tape wasn't even leaving a little bit of glue on that page. So I had forgotten to ink up the edges of that strip. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to glue it to the bottom there where I'm going to add that tag, and then I'm going to start building the layers. You know, I really love scrapping with an older kit, but I am so excited when I start with the new kit because you have so many embellishments and it's so fun to see all those new die cuts, and you know, you just have so much to add to the cluster. So in that cluster I'm working on right now, I have a big tag, a little blue, navy blue tab, the hello square, the pink circle, an arrow. I'm going to add a butterfly, a puffy heart, and some twine. And so that's the square I'm going to cut in half right now. I'm going to tuck it in behind the tag, and I just want that navy in there because he's got a navy and light blue shirt. And I know I want to add something to the top of the layout, but I'm not really sure how I want to put it together. So I'm going to keep working on the other clusters instead. So that one there, I have a blue tab that I'm going to glue down. I have another light blue tag or arrow thing that says Insta Love. I put some foam tape in behind that flare button or flare badge, and it's a little heart, and I'm going to put it there on top of that little tag. I added a blue butterfly in cork that I painted in the last video, and I'm going to have a puffy heart right there that I just put there, and then I'm going to put an enamel dot and some twine, and I'm going to add some washi tape. Now to the bottom cluster, I added the strip in teal and cream, a strip of those butterflies, a navy tab, a puffy heart, an enamel heart, a butterfly that a cork butterfly that I painted in the last layout, and some twine in aqua and white. And then the top of the layout, I knew that I wanted to put that wood veneer that said together and that little triangle that said oh my, but I wasn't really sure because the together was kind of, I don't know, it looked floaty or like it didn't belong there. So when I don't know how I want to do it, I move on to something that I do know what I want to do. So at this point, I knew I wanted to add some twine, so I'm just going to ball it up, take my quick dry adhesive and glue it down. And now I'm going to work on my title. So I'm taking those thickers that came in the kit, and the title for this page is going to be For Ice Cream, because the first one was I scream, you scream, we all scream, and this one is For Ice Cream. I added to some wax paper because I want to change the color of them. So first of all, I'm going to add some Hero Arts white dauber ink, and then I'm going to dry it up using my heat gun. And then I'm going to add two colors that I want for this layout. So Tide Pool Blue, the Hero Arts daubers, I'm going to color in the word cream. And then ice, I'm going to use the Prima ink called Knotted Wood, and I'm going to color it in brown. I'm going to add a second layer of that white ink, and I love using that white ink to change the color of things. And while I'm doing that, Celine Scrap Passion asked me where I got those little bottles to put the masking fluid in so that you can use it to do fine lines. I got it online, and it's actually a Canadian store, Celine, so you're going to love that because it's free shipping if you buy $25 or more. And it's called Curry's Art, Curry apostrophe S Art. And it's in Toronto. And they have the masking fluid. They have those little bottles, and the little bottles are on the same page. If you type in masking fluid, the little bottles are with it. Or not with it, but in the same page so that you can order them. And you can also order the pads of watercolor paper. the cold press one or the not cold press ones. And the watercolor paper I bought, the cheap ones, are called Canson. They're 12 by 16, cold press, 140 pounds, and they're only $19.95 for 15 sheets. So a whole lot more affordable than $70. And if you just heard me slap my hands together, it's because mosquitoes are now here. I love summer, but that I can do without are those pesky little mosquitoes. And if you just saw the light flash here, thankfully I have a power bar in my room, and anyway, it keeps blowing out the power bar because I have 3 lights plugged in: my camcorder, my computer, and the heat gun, and it just keeps blowing it out. But it's really easy to just put it back on. So this is where I'm looking for some washi tape to add in behind that word together. And of course, I'm going to add it everywhere else on the layout so that it kind of pulls it all in. I'm going to decide on a nice teal one. It's one of my favorite colors. And I'm going to put it to the left. And then I'm like, no, I wanted it under the word together because that's what was kind of getting lost. So I move it over to the right. And then I glue the wood veneer down and that little triangle. And now I think, okay, well, I got to add that washi tape somewhere else because it's just kind of in one spot and it needs to be other places. So I'm going to put it to the bottom of the layout, to the top cluster, right above the photo, and then right beside the tag or underneath the tag next to the arrow. Now I want to add some stamping, and there is a stamp, one of the stamp set, it says Sweet Little Moments. So I'm looking for, first of all, there's little stars, and I'm going to, in Tide Pool Blue, which is almost the same color as the background. So it kind of blends in the brown, but it just adds, again, texture. So I'm going to stamp those stars in 3 areas. And now I'm taking out that little word that says Sweet Little Moments. I'm going to take out my black ink. And it is the VersaFine in black. And I stamp it at the top of the tag that says Sweet Little Moments. And that's where I'm going to do my journaling. Now I'm looking to see if there's any more stamp sets that I could use on this layout, but I'm just going to decide against it. So now I'm going to work on the title. And because I've done a lot to the letters, you know, I've added some Hero Arts ink, and then I dried them, and then I added some embossing ink, and then some embossing powder, and heated it again. You have to make sure to use some extra adhesive to glue them down. So I just use my quick dry adhesive, and I'm just going to put the title to the left of the layout, right next to the photo, and just one word on top of the other, sort of like how it was on the other layout too. So that's going to take me a few seconds, and then once that's done, I think the only thing left to do is I'm going to pull out my box that I do my inking in. I took out 3 inks to splatter, 1 Mr. Huey and 2 Mr. Huey white, or no, one of them is Dilutions, my new Dilutions in white. And then some brown ink, and the brown ink is Glimmer Glaze. And now I'm going to show you some quick close-ups, and then I also took some pictures, and with the pictures I just like to go right in and show you all the different areas, you know, the little clusters, how they're all put together. Now if you want to see more close-ups, you can go to my Facebook group. The link is in the description. You can join me on Facebook, on Twitter, Pinterest, A Cherry on Top, 2 Peas in a Bucket, the Scraptastic blog and Facebook group, and also on Instagram. And all that, I'm Nicole Jones 911. So thanks for watching. Bye.